What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, check it out, man. Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders have agreed to fight in May. So after Canelo takes care of Andy Yildirim, Canelo and Billy Joe's team, they've agreed. Let's get it done. May is going to be a 3-belt unification between Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. So, as of now, these guys have agreed. Now, we know about agreements, agreements in principle or verbal agreements or what have you. But here's one thing for sure is that these fights are never sold and never set in stone until we get those things announced. I love the way that Canelo Alvarez is moving without the zone and Oscar behind him. See, people made a whole lot of, and I always say, we got to look at the guys behind these fighters. Fans are so quick, channels are so quick to blame fighters, but we got to look at the guys behind these fighters. Say what you will about Canelo. Canelo and this, the catch weights, the blah, 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 blah. Oscar has to make money. He has to move his product in a way that is safe for him to continue making money. A lot of that stuff that you guys put on Canelo, the heat you put on Canelo, was movement of Oscar De La Hoya. And if you pay any attention and stop hating Canelo, you would see that he's already moving in a different fashion than the way Oscar was moving it. He's already moving to be great. You have to pay attention, okay? Prior to the lawsuit and separating from the debacle and foolery he was dealing with over there, and after the lawsuit and the way he's moving now, he's setting himself up to potentially fight 4 times in a 12-month span. Now, this is not just the average schmo that's trying to come up. Most of these guys, the marquee fighters, your Errol Spencers, your Demetrius Andrades, Terrence Crawford, Anthony Joshua's, Tyson Fury's, Deontay Wilder's, Alexander Usyk's, whoever is your favorite guy, most of these marquee fighters, and I mean most of them, even now, so the Monster Nuis, these guys are fighting twice a year. You're lucky if you see them fight 3 times in a year. This is arguably the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. The other argument next to him would be Anthony Joshua, and you ain't seeing him fight 4 times a year. No disrespect to Anthony Joshua, but that's the guy that's closest to Canelo when we talk about the face or the money man or the popularity in boxing. Manny Pacquiao is another big, huge name in boxing. He hadn't even fought but once in the past 2 years. So, look, man, 4 times in a year span, you got to give it to Canelo. And this is how Canelo is deciding to move after the split up. So you guys keep on crying and bitching and moaning about Canelo and the catch weights and everything else. And I get it. Valid complaints. But just pay attention to this fighter, how he's moving without those guys behind him. Hell, I gave Canelo heat myself about the 160 160 division, middleweight division promise of cleaning out the division. Now you bounce up to 168 and you're telling us you're going to clean out again. There's a lot of things that fans are going to give Canelo heat for. And hey, fellow Canelo fans, you just got to eat it. Because a lot of the things he deserved the heat for. He did fight a lot of fighters that catch weight. He did catch a lot of fighters at the right time. Doesn't it remind you of something reminiscent of another fighter who moved through boxing? I mean, you can't say that, oh, well, you didn't say that when Floyd did it. But what did you say when Floyd did it? That's the problem. What did you say when Floyd did it? When Floyd did it, you didn't like it. So now when Canelo does it, you can't like it either. You can't just say you didn't say that when Floyd did it. No, if you didn't like it then, you can't like it now. This is where the double standards start. It doesn't matter. But we need to pay attention to Canelo Alvarez after this whole Oscar De La Hoya fiasco, this whole DAZN fiasco. Because this will tell you the true intention of the boxer, what the boxer wants to do. It doesn't matter if you people like the fact that it's Caleb Plant and BJS, those are the champions. So the idea is to take out the champions. Y'all don't act like 4-belt undisputed don't matter now when it comes to Canelo. Because a lot of you idiotic Crawford fans that believe he should be over Canelo, all you got is that he went 4-belt undisputed. Very easily, okay? Very easily he got it. So, but that's your claim to fame. So 4-belt undisputed has to matter now. And we can't talk about level of opponents because who was Crawford's level of opponents on that 4-belt undisputed run? Let's think about it. Right? Canelo would have fought 3 champions by the time he's finished. Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders. Crawford fought 2. One being Julius Ndongo, and I don't care what you say about Caleb Plant or Billy Joe Saunders or Callum Smith. I think all of them were much better opponent than Julius Ndongo at the time, which Crawford got 2 belts off of him. So, guys, like, let's keep things in perspective. You can give Canelo his heat, and Canelo fans, you gotta eat it. But what is Canelo doing after this whole Oscar De La Hoya, the Zone, Golden Boy situation? It appears to me the guy is trying to be great, and we'll see what happens after 2021. After he goes 4-belt undisputed, will there be a question then? If the guy's been hovering at number 1 pound for pound, for all of you haters, I don't promote cheaters or I don't put cheaters in it, whatever, man. Cut it out. If he goes 4-belt undisputed at 168, all you haters could just shut it up, man. Because I think he's pound for pound number 1 now, but if he does that, he locks it down. But, you know, I like the way Canelo's moving, going in the right direction for 2021. Hopefully everything plays out the way it's supposed to. No hiccups or obstacles, you know, on the way for him to get 4-belt undisputed. Caleb Plant, I would like to see him get Caleb Plant first, but it appears it's going to be BJS. So we'll see how all of this plays out. Looking good, though. Looking good to start. And y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.